after Rachel Zegler has been getting roasted hard for her comments.
It's obviously a very convoluted subject, and I'm not fully equipped to talk about all of the gritty details.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged. Truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy. And
people suspect she's doing some PR damage control.
The reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings.
A police report, a leaked threat, and Rachel Zegler, once hailed as Hollywood's next Golden Girl, now allegedly under investigation by actual law enforcement. This isn't just bad PR, this isn't another backstage meltdown. What's coming? Out of London right now could end her stage career for good. Sources close to the production say the Evita director filed an official report after a disturbing backstage incident, one that allegedly involved Zegler shouting threats during a heated outburst. And here's the part no one saw coming. It was all caught on camera.
Hey, Rachel. Congratulations on all the success too, Rachel.
Sir.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Rachel, you got time to sign some autographs for us, Rachel? Rachel, please. Rachel, you got time to sign some, Rachel? Hey, you on the way out?
Security footage, or a phone recording, depending on who you ask, reportedly captured Zegler making what insiders are calling unhinged and aggressive comments toward the director during a private confrontation just off stage. The moment was never meant to be public, but now it's spiraling into a full-blown legal nightmare because filing a report wasn't just a warning shot. It was a decisive move that escalated this drama from a celebrity temper tantrum to something far more serious. Something with consequences that could reach police stations, courtrooms, and beyond. But what pushed things this far? Why would a director go to the authorities against the lead of his own show? What happens next is even messier than you think.
Looks like all this agenda is for the sake of girl power, for the sake of wokeness, for the sake of ridiculousness and stupidness that women bring to entertainment much of the time nowadays. When all a woman really has to do is be attractive and don't screw it up. That's all a woman really has to do in me.
Tensions on the Evita set didn't erupt suddenly. They built up slowly over time. From the very first day, Rachel Zegler arrived in London to begin work on the West End revival. Something felt uneasy. The atmosphere was tense, and early signs hinted that not everything behind the scenes was as smooth as it should have been.
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job. I'm being so serious. I mean, a lot of people keep asking me. Hi, Adam. My agent's over there. Hi, Ken. My lawyer. My entire family is here. Hi, everybody. Sorry. No, I mean, the reality was we were in the middle of a pandemic and I was not working and I couldn't get a job for the life of me because West Side Story hadn't come out yet, and it was really hard to book work for me. So I was really excited when this came in my inbox. I loved the first movie, and the fact that they even wanted me to come in for a callback and then a chem read and then everything in between. I'm so lucky that I got this job. I made some of my best friends on this job, and I just absolutely adore this movie.
There were whispers, quiet at first, about missed rehearsals, frosty exchanges with the crew, and sudden mood swings that disrupted the flow of production. At first, people gave her the benefit of the doubt. She's under pressure, they said. She's young, she'll adjust. But time didn't help. In fact, the tension only deepened.
Okay, I'm not making this video to actually trash on Rachel, though I do want to say that Entertainment Tonight is circulating around that clip as if it's an apology or related to the Snow White debacle, and it's not, it's old. She's actually in a bad spot because they're doing the writer's strike and she can't talk about the film. She can't really clean up the stuff that she said that people find to be so offensive. I just wanted to add that they were probably coached into saying things like she's not going to be saved by the prince and this is modern, etc. And she's putting it into her words, and Gal Gadot is putting it to her words. But this isn't like a mistake from Disney. They know what's in the film, they read the script, they acted it out, etc. So the things that are coming off so badly to us is, I mean, they're a participant, but it's Disney's fault. The thing about Disney is they seem to despise the things that made them a household name and a lot of their customers who made them what they are. So if you're upset that Disney doesn't seem to understand or is maybe even revolted by the old Snow White, maybe you're just not their customer base anymore.
Zegler, who was once celebrated as a breath of fresh air following West Side Story, quickly developed a reputation on set that cast members now allegedly describe as volatile. Reports suggest she frequently challenged the director mid-scene, dismissed feedback with sarcasm, and at times stormed off stage altogether. At the heart of the growing tension stood the director, a seasoned West End veteran known for managing high-stakes productions with calm authority. This wasn't his first experience with strong personalities, but insiders say even he privately admitted that Zegler was pushing boundaries no actor had ever dared to cross before.
That's not where my problem comes. I'm all for it. Go for it. But what she's doing in press, and these are interviews that I believe were done before the actors' strike, but of course are now being brought up on the internet. She's basically talking about how much she didn't like the actual original movie, even saying that it scared her, and then talking about how the love story in this isn't really going to be at the forefront, that the prince, yes, has been cast, he's in it, but might be cut, Hollywood, and that the prince in the original film was problematic and was creepy because he was stalking Snow White. I just can't believe that Disney's PR hasn't silenced her on this yet. The live-action movies already have a problem where people are kind of over them and they don't like the changes that are being made from the originals to these. And with this one, we're definitely going to see some change.
Multiple sources claimed the director tried everything: private meetings, gentle feedback, even rewriting stage blocking to accommodate her. But nothing seemed to work. Then came the breaking point. During one particularly tense rehearsal, Zegler allegedly refused to take a correction in front of the cast. What followed was a standoff between her and the director so intense, sources say the entire room fell silent. The energy shifted. What had started as creative friction suddenly felt like open conflict, and from that moment on, the production never fully recovered.
Sorry? I'm human, talk to me as such.
But that silence didn't last, because what Rachel Zegler allegedly said next was loud enough to leave a lasting impression. And unfortunately for her, it wasn't just remembered. It may have been recorded.
Add fuel to the Rachel Zegler Oscar fiasco. But why did they have these women, all Disney princesses, all stated as Disney princesses, come out to present, but like not include Rachel Zegler, who's going to be Snow White? They're clearly acknowledging Disney princesses from movies that have not been released yet. Someone must have had this conversation and then they purposely left her out, even though she was the only one with a hit movie this year of the four. Did anyone else notice this, or am I over?
After the explosive rehearsal, most of the cast assumed it was over. Just another celebrity meltdown that would be cleaned up by morning. But what no one expected was that someone had proof.
If you YouTube Rachel Zegler's name, only hate videos will pop up. Is this because of Snow White or is this because of something else? And even using Jenna Ortega for clickbait is insane. Like, what does Jenna have to do with this? I'm sorry, y'all truly don't care about her comments about Snow White. Like, y'all just want to jump on another woman's hate train. You know, this is actually looking pretty familiar. Kind of reminds me of another woman that had a hate campaign. But that's for a different video. But yeah, I won't sit back and let another hate train on another woman continue.
According to insiders, the moment Rachel Zegler allegedly crossed the line wasn't just witnessed, it was captured. One version of the story claims it came from a backstage security camera, standard in most major West End venues. Another source insists it was a cast member, fed up with the chaos, who hit record on their phone when tensions began to rise. Whatever the case, the result is the same. A clip exists. And according to multiple reports, it's damning. Zegler can allegedly be heard in a full-blown tirade, shouting at the director with what has been described as a threatening tone and language. One source claimed she accused him of trying to destroy her career, and then made a chilling statement that blurred the line between unprofessional and dangerous. She wasn't acting anymore, an insider said. It wasn't performance, it was rage. Here's the twist. This wasn't an isolated blow-up. The director, already compiling complaints, reportedly showed the footage to producers. That's when things escalated. He didn't just confront her, he walked off the production, footage in hand. And less than 24 hours later, the police were involved. For a brief moment, everything went quiet. No official statements, no backstage chatter. Just a heavy, awkward stillness across the Evita production. But behind closed doors, the director wasn't waiting. According to reports, he took the alleged footage straight to the authorities. A formal police report was filed, naming Rachel Zegler as the individual responsible for what he described as a... The incident was described as a direct verbal threat made in a professional setting, and it didn't stay quiet for long. Word spread quickly among the cast and crew that the situation had escalated into a legal matter. This wasn't just backstage gossip. It now involved interviews, formal questions, and possibly subpoenas. According to one insider, the director told police it wasn't about celebrity drama. It was about feeling unsafe at work. In a post-Me Too era, that kind of claim becomes a serious legal liability. And what made things worse was that this wasn't the first complaint. Internal HR documents from earlier in rehearsals allegedly detailed verbal intimidation and disruptive behavior by Zegler. None of it had reached the public until now. With a formal police report filed, everything changed. Even if no charges are ever pursued, the optics alone are damaging. A police report tied to a high-profile actress mid-production is career poison. The cast grew tense. Security on set was increased. Zegler's access was reportedly limited. Behind the scenes, producers began combing through her contract, hoping for a way out. Her talent agency remained silent. Disney, once all in on Zegler as the face of Snow White, began to quietly pull back. Cast members submitted statements. Some asked to be released. And Rachel? She vanished. No apology, no explanation, just silence. But in Hollywood, silence isn't always innocent. Sometimes it's strategy. Sometimes it's guilt. And sometimes it's just the calm before the storm. Zegler is no longer a name people in the industry want to touch. Casting directors, producers, even brands. Everyone's backing off. What was once a rising star is now a red flag. Behind closed doors, the conversations have shifted. It's no longer about finding her next big role, it's about how to quietly remove her from existing ones. One insider reportedly said, "She's not a risk worth taking anymore. Not with sponsors, not with audiences, not with crews." And the warning signs were there long before Evita collapsed. The Snow White press backlash, the arrogant quotes, the social media chaos. It wasn't just one mistake, it was a series of them. And now, with a police report allegedly filed over an on-set outburst, it feels less like damage control and more like disaster cleanup. Producers are panicking, agencies are distancing, brands are scrubbing her face from campaigns. And the worst part? She's silent. No apology, no explanation, just a carefully worded publicist note that didn't even come from her directly. And in this town, silence like that doesn't read as strength, it reads as surrender. One user on X said what many were thinking: at what point do we stop blaming context and start looking at the actual behavior? Still, Zegler stayed silent. No social posts, no photos, not even a cryptic Instagram story. It was as if she vanished, hoping the news cycle would move on. But it didn't, because in today's world, silence isn't protection, it's gasoline. And the longer she stayed quiet, the louder the backlash grew. There was a time not long ago when Rachel Zegler was the future. Backed by the Disney machine, handpicked by Steven Spielberg, she was the fresh face of a new generation of Hollywood. Stars, not a product of nepotism or a recycled name, but a breakout underdog, a dream come true. From West Side Story to the Hunger Games prequel, Zegler's rise felt like destiny. She didn't just land roles, she became the face of billion-dollar properties. She was supposed to lead the next era of fantasy musicals and modern cinema. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. It wasn't just one moment, it was a pattern, a slow unraveling. A series of choices, some public, some private, that chipped away at the goodwill she once had. First came the Snow White press disaster. What should have been a nostalgic, soft PR campaign became a social media battleground. Zegler's offhand. Comments mocking the original film, calling the prince a stalker, labeling the 1937 classic as weird, and promising a more empowered Snow White who didn't need saving, alienated fans almost instantly. The backlash was swift and brutal, but instead of walking it back, she doubled down. Smirks in interviews, sarcastic one-liners, red carpet clips that painted her as dismissive. Above it all, she wasn't promoting a film, she was dragging a legacy. Then came the Evita chapter. Second chance to reset the narrative, to return to her theater roots and win back public trust through raw, emotional performance on one of the most respected stages in the world. But even before opening night, the warning signs returned. Rumors of diva behavior, cast discomfort, missed rehearsals, and mood swings. The kind of whispers that follow stars who believe their own hype and push everyone else into the background. Still, it might have stayed contained. It might have remained a rumor until the footage surfaced, until the alleged threats, until the police report, until the entire industry looked at each other and asked, how much longer are we supposed to ignore this? And the truth is, they're not. Because Rachel Zegler is no longer being judged by her talent. She's being judged by her impact, by the chaos that now seems to follow her. She's not officially fired. Not yet. No charges have been confirmed. There's still time. Still space to apologize, to explain, to fight back. But every day she stays silent. Every day she hides behind vague publicist statements. That window gets smaller. There's an unspoken rule in Hollywood. You only get one redemption arc. One public flameout followed by a tearful comeback interview and a heartfelt caption about growth. But you only get that luxury if the public wants to root for you. And right now, they don't. Rachel Zegler had the story everyone loves. Immigrant roots, big dreams, a once-in-a-lifetime voice. She was positioned to become a household name. A cross-generational talent who could carry both Oscar-worthy dramas and Marvel blockbusters. But now, she's a headline, a warning, a case study in how quickly the tide can turn when ego eclipses gratitude. Because this isn't just about one backstage meltdown. It's about reputation. It's about patterns. It's about the version of Rachel Zegler that shows up when the cameras stop rolling. And that version, the one reportedly threatening directors, storming out of rehearsals, and alienating co-stars, isn't one Hollywood is willing to protect anymore. In a post-Yo Me Too, post-cancel culture, hyper-scrutinized entertainment industry, the margin for error is razor thin. And Zegler, she's slicing right through it. What's tragic is that this could have gone differently. She could have owned her mistakes. She could have turned the backlash into a rallying cry, a lesson learned, a transformation. But instead, she disappeared and let the narrative grow legs of its own. Now, it's not just about what she did. It's about what people believe she did. And in an age of viral footage, whisper networks, and PR spin cycles, belief spreads faster than fact. So where does that leave her? Some say she'll bounce back, that Hollywood always loves a comeback. But others aren't so sure. Hollywood always forgives its stars. Eventually, the public has a short memory, and often, a strong performance or a viral apology is enough to wipe the slate clean. But others, especially those behind the scenes, aren't so sure. Producers, don't gamble on instability. Studios don't fund risks they can't control. And audiences, once they turn on you, rarely turn back. If this truly is the end of Rachel Zegler's golden era, it won't be because she lacked talent. It'll be because she lacked what every great star eventually needs: humility. The fame was real. The opportunity was unprecedented. But the self-awareness? Missing in action. And now, with police reports, legal drama, and a career spiraling in real time, the world isn't watching her rise anymore. They're watching the collapse. And the real tragedy? This didn't have to happen.